Okay, good evening. Today we are going for the new topic, that is new aspect. Those are agreements opposed to public policy. Agreements opposed to public policy. That is public, whatever it may be, the agreement that are against to the public. We are taking into account that thing. An agreement is said to be opposed to public policy when it is harmful to the welfare of public. When it is very harmful, then only the agreements are said to be opposed by public policy. It is a principle of law that no subject can lawfully do that with a mischievous tendency to be injurious to the interest of the people. Okay, what is the principle of law? The principle of law is it is a principle of law that no subject can lawfully do. Okay, lawfully do that with a mischievous tendency to be injured to the interest of the public with a mischievous tendency. Okay, you must be very cautious. You should not be like a childish person. Whatever it may be, the principle of law, you have to go for that, and you have to hear that, and you have to behave in that. You should not behave in a mischievous manner. And with this mischievous behavior, you should not create harm to any public. Okay, to the interest of the public. There is no exact meaning for the word public policy, as it is an elastic term. Different people give different meanings for the word public policy. Some of them are. So, there is no stipulated meaning for this word public policy. And it is nothing but an elastic thing that it is as long as you stretch, it will just be stretched. And different people they have given different definitions for the word public policy. And what are they? Okay, agreements of trading with an agreements of trading with an enemy. When you go for agreements of trading with an enemy, okay, say for example, when you take into account the Pakistan, you should not enter into an agreement for trading because it is nothing but it is treated as an enemy. Okay, at present, when you take into account the Chinese people or the China, okay, it became an enemy to us. So you should not enter into any trading activity, and you should not make any agreements with that. Okay, recently, if you take into account, okay, the whatever it may be, the programs prepared by the Chinese people, and whatever it may be, the Chinese, okay, components or cells, all those things they were banned. Okay, because it became an enemy country. It became an enemy country, and you should not enter into any trade agreements. An agreement made with an enemy at the time of outbreak of war is illegal on the ground of public policy. When there is a war declaration, whatever it may be, the trade that you come across with an enemy, it is said to be against public policy. Contracts entered into before the are outbreak of war are either suspended or dissolved according to intention of the parties, but they cannot be carried out by postponing their performance. Okay, whatever it may be, the agreement that we come across before outbreak of war, they should be suspended. Okay, or either suspended or dissolved according to intention of the parties. You have to take into account the intention of the parties, and their intention must be Either it should be suspended or it should be dissolved. But they cannot be carried out by postponing their performance. You cannot postpone them. You have to dissolve or you have to suspend them. Okay. Second one, agreement to commit a crime. Agreement to commit a crime. Okay. So whatever it may be, when you want to do a crime, for that whatever it may be, the agreement that you come across, you should not. Okay. It is against to public policy. You should not consider that. You should not take that. When consideration in a contract is to commit a crime, the agreement is said to be opposite to public policy is void. Okay. When consideration in a contract is to commit a crime, the agreement is said to be opposite to public policy and is void. Okay. You should not enter into an agreement to commit a crime. That is the consideration, whatever it may be, the consideration it should not be a, to commit a crime which is against to public policy and it is void. Similarly, agreement to indemnify a person against consequences of his criminal act is also opposed to public policy. Similarly, agreement to forget, okay, indemnity bond, that is future bond. We should not allow to indemnify a person against consequences of his criminal act. He had done a criminal act, and okay, when he had done a criminal act, automatically the consequences we will come across. When they are opposite to public policy, then also the agreement is said to be void. Okay, okay, there is an example for this. Okay, Bombay, in Bombay, you'll come across Bam Blast. Okay, so the main person and the main victim is Kasab, and that person he was caught. Okay, and they kept in a jail until they get permission from the Pakistan. He's a Pakistani guy, and these Pakistani people they have to tell that they are telling that this person is completely an innocent person. But even though he's an innocent person, he had done a criminal act, and when he had done a criminal act, okay, so many notorious consequences had happened. So automatically, to certain extent, they kept him in jail, and after that, by informing, okay, because that thing was opposed by public. It was completely opposed by public. How they are doing in the same way we have to do. When any person, when he is caught in Pakistan, those people they are showing hell. Okay, those people they are showing hell. In the same way we have to react. In the same way we have to react. Okay, so for the consequences, whatever it may be, when you come across a criminal act, okay, it is opposed to public policy and it should be void. Agreement which interferes with the administration of justice is unlawful. It may take any of the following forms. Interference interference when you come across a court of law, when the consequences are going on, when the administration work of law, when it is going on, you should not interfere. You should not interfere, and you should not enter into an agreement to interfere in the judgment, administration of justice. Agreement which interferes with the administration of justice is unlawful. Okay, it is not according to court of law. It is not advisable. It is not followed. It may take any of the following forms: interference with course of justice, stifling prosecution, maintenance, and champertency. Champertency. These are all the things that we come across. Champertency means. Okay, covering, just covering. Okay, telling something which is not required and which is not advised. So, champerting, champertency. Maintenance is an agreement to give assistance financially or otherwise to another person to enable him to bring legal proceedings when the person giving assistance has got no interest of his own in the subject matter. Okay, making, maintaining, maintenance. Giving an is an agreement to give assistance financially or otherwise to another person to enable him to bring legal proceedings. Okay, he has to go for legal proceedings. When the person giving assistance has no interest, when the person giving assistance has got no interest of his own in the subject matter. This is, suppose take for example, a crime is going on and the judgment and the discussions are going on in the court of law. Suppose if one person, if he comes and if he asks me to go for legal proceedings in the court of law, okay, then it is against the public, and they will take into account. Are you interested in that, in the subject matter? No, I am not at all interested. When you say that, then why you are taking this legal proceedings? Why you are taking the money to disturb the legal proceedings? So like that, okay, when we come across, we must be in a position to answer that. We must be in a position to answer that. So when we cannot able to answer, okay, so it is against the public policy, like this. Example: A offers to pay B rupees 5,000 if B files a suit on C. See the peculiarity. Offers to pay B 5,000 rupees if B files a suit on C. A's motive is to annoy C. Is to A's motive is to disturb C. Okay. C. The agreement between A and B is a maintenance agreement. Who is he? Who is he to file a suit? If A wants, he can file a suit against C because A wants to annoy C. But who is B to interfere? Okay, who is B to do that filing of a suit against C? So this is nothing but a maintenance agreement. Okay, champerty. Okay, already I told you champerty. It is an agreement whereby one party is to assist another to bring an action for recovering money or property and to share the profits. This is nothing but champerty. Okay, champertency with course of justice, stifling prosecution, maintenance, and champerty. What is champerty? It is an agreement whereby one party is to assist another to bring an action for recovering money or property and to share the proceeds. They are going to share. This thing it should not be there with court of law. Okay, whatever it may be, it should be straight. It should not be of champerty. What is the example for this? P agrees to pay expenses of Q if he files suit on R. Q agrees to give P half of the proceeds received by Q. C. P agrees to pay expenses of Q if he files suit on R. Q agreed to give P half of the proceeds received by Q. This is not fair. Next, agreement in restraint of legal proceedings. You should not disturb and you should not restrict the legal proceedings. Whatever it may be, the legal proceedings must be done, and there should not be any agreement to restrict the legal proceedings. Two kinds of agreements under this are said to be void. What are they? Agreement restricting enforcement of rights, wholly or partly. Okay, the Constitution it had given the rights. Okay, fundamental rights, and no one should restrict them. No one should restrict them. Okay, no one should mean oppose that. Agreement restricting enforcement of rights, wholly or partly, that is the thing that we come across. Second one is agreement curtailing period of limitation prescribed by law. Curtailing, cancelling. Okay, the law it had given. Okay, in the law, in the court of law, it was given that if you won't pay any debt for 3 years continuously, then it should be eliminated. Okay, so Limitation Act, you have to take into account the Limitation Act. So when you curtail the period of limitation prescribed by law, then it is opposite to public policy. Trifling in public offices and title, trifling, okay, involving copying, agreements for sale of or transfer of public office and titled for public recognition like Padma Vibhushan, Padma Shri, Paramveer Chakra for money or unlawful and opposite to public policy. Trifling. Okay. Trifling in public offices. When you go for a public office, you should not do this trifling or titles, whatever it may be. This Padma Vibhushan, Padma Shri, and Paramveer Chakra, these are the awards, those are the titles given by the government. You should not do for money. You should not get them for money. And so many people they are doing like this. Okay. What do you mean by this, sir? So many people what they are doing is they are spending money and they want to and they are taking these awards. Okay. And they are paying money for this. They are paying for money for this, and paying money and getting the reward. It doesn't mean that it doesn't look quite good. Okay, if you pay this much amount, why I'm going to give this much, this thing. It is not the question. Okay, people they must understand, and the government they must understand the talent and the skill of that person, and if they give, then okay, we can. It is appreciable. But paying money and getting the titles is nothing but a trifling in public offices and title agreements for sales of or transfer of public office and title for public recognition like Padma Vibhushan, Padma Shri, Paramveer Chakra for money or unlawful and opposite to public policy. Okay. Agreement tending to create interest opposite to public policy is void on ground of public policy. Agreement tending to create interest opposite to public policy. When they are opposing that, when they are going against to that, you should not show any interest in that. You should not show any interest in that. So that is nothing but a void agreement. Next, agreement is in restraint of parental rights. Agreements in restraint of parental rights. Okay, parental rights you cannot restrict. When a baby born to a woman, and automatically she will become the mother. Okay, no one has the right to restrict that because it is opposed to public policy. A father in his absence, mother is the legal guardian of minor's child. This right of guardianship cannot be restricted by any agreement is void on the ground of public policy. On the ground of public policy. Suppose if father is expired, so automatically the mother will become the guardian of the minor's child. No one has the right to restrict this because it is opposed against to the public. So like this you'll come across. And some of them are. Okay, agreement in restraint of personal liberty. Okay, personal liberty, personal freedom. You cannot, you should not, you cannot and you should not restrict the okay freedom. or personal freedom. A contract which restricts the liberty of an individual is illegal. Okay, which restriction should not be there for personal freedom. So that thing also, one thing you have to keep in mind is, okay, you have no right to restrict the personal freedom, but it should be within limits. It should be within limits. When it crosses, okay, it is then it crosses when the personal freedom, when it crosses its limits and when it is causing disturbance to others, then you can stop that. As a matter of fact, okay, the personal freedom, okay, and restriction of this personal freedom, no one has the right because it is against the public policy. Agreements in restraint of marriage brokerage. Yeah, marriage brokerage. Some people, the bride and the bridegroom, their families, when they are at different places, okay, some person will act as a middle person, broker, and they will club these two things. Okay, agreement in restraint of marriage brokerage. A marriage brokerage agreement is an agreement whereby a person promises for reward to procure the marriage of another. Such agreements are void, being against to public policy. Okay, a middle person, he will stay. Okay, he will stay and he will see that the marriage should be done. Okay, if the people, if the couple, if they are good, then okay. But when they are bad, it won't stay. So when you want to when you restrict that in the middle or in the beginning, then automatically there won't be. If you want, you have to go to that place and you have to, I may consult those people and you have to look after those proceedings. You should not rely on the broker. You should rely on, you should not, because the broker is always looking after the money. Okay, he'll take money from the bridegroom and he'll take money from the bride, from two sides. Okay, and at no cost, at no cost he's getting money. So this thing you have to restrict because it is opposite to public policy. Nowadays what is happening is, okay, instead of going, people, they are habituated to go for brokers. Okay, people, they are habituated to go for brokers and they will ask them, you have to look after a bride or bridegroom for my daughter or son. And this became a big thing. Okay, and this became a big business because the brokers are charging money from both sides. So at the cost of nothing, these people, they are earning money. With that, what is happening is, we are coming across so many marriage bureaus, and their duty is to keep a computer and, okay, appoint a person and look after these various persons regarding the ages, regarding the caste, like that. They are taking into account. They are just feeding that in the computer, and whenever any person comes, they will look after that. And that thing also, it is an age old one. It is not updated. Okay, and whatever it may be, the information or whatever it may be, the data that they are having, it is okay. Grannies or my grannies, or at the time of Jesus Christ, they may collect the data, and the same data, what they are doing is they are repeating to whomever they come. When you just go and when you just rely on those things, already he will die. The person, he will die, but the data won't change. So updation must be there, and everything. So the peculiarity, for everything, I mean, people, they are habituated to go for the broker to get their work. And so many agencies are forming, there so many agencies are coming into picture. Okay, for their benefit. And people that are habituated, see the peculiarity. Actually, it should be opposed by the public. But thing is, people are they are habituated. When they are habituated, taking into account the weakness of the people, those people they are earning money, they are minting money. This is how you will come across agreements interfering with marital duties. Okay, marital duties. Okay, when there is a marriage, the both the bridegroom and bride they have to involve in that arrangements. But what is happening is nowadays, okay, they are giving to some other people as events. Okay, if you call any person, okay, he will say that, "Well, I am looking after this whole event, sir." I don't understand whether that person is going to give birth to a, is making arrangements to for the bridegroom or for the bride to give birth to a son or daughter. I don't understand. But thing is, it became a fashion. It became a fashion to do these events. Okay, for something you can do, but even for marriage duties also people they are taking this. Okay, agreement interfering with marital duties. Agreements which interfere with performance of marital duties are void and is being and or void as being opposed to public policy. When you are having a marriage in your house, you are the person to do the duty, and who is the other person to interfere into your duties? And this became a fashion. See the peculiarity, and this became a fashion place. And people that mean so fond of this, they're charging money for doing all these things. And sometimes what they are doing is they are interfering with other things also. Even they are coming to the bedrooms or the kitchens, whatever it may be. They don't want to keep privacy for the people. They want to interfere in every aspect and they want to do themselves. And some people they like that and some people they don't like that. But it became a fashion. All the people. Okay. So this thing it is opposed. Actually, it is opposed to public policy. But in recent days, in recent times, it became a fashion. Okay, there is no necessity for us to struggle a lot. There is no necessity for you to go here and there in search of these duties and in search of these things. When we give this much amount, those people they will arrange everything and we can go as if we are free birds. I don't understand whether this mean children also they are going to create in future. It will be like that only. Why should I give birth to a child? So many things are happening. Okay, so many things are happening. They are taking into account the test tube with the sperm and they are injecting into a person who can able to carry the okay womb, and whatever it may be the baby, whether it may be he baby or she baby, they are bringing and they are paying some money. Okay, this is the situation, please. In future, it is going to be like that, and people they are not opposing that. See the peculiarity. In previous stages, people they used to oppose. Okay, that's why we are nowadays we are getting this infertility centers. Okay, whatever it may be, the baby, whatever it may, whomever it may be, whether it may be a she baby or he baby, it should go okay according to nature. But these people they are creating artificial these things, AIs. Okay, ma'am. Agreement in restraint of marriage. You should not marry this person. You should not marry. Nowadays, when you take into account the newspapers and the news, okay, okay, We are coming across so many crimes basing upon the marriages. She married a low caste person and he married a low caste person. Like that, people they are thinking as if they are losing their status and they are killing. When they like, when they are adjusted, who are you to interfere, and what is the status that you had? You didn't have any status, but you are thinking that there is a status for you. Like that only you are doing and you are killing. Okay. So agreement in restraint of marriage, agreement to defraud creditors or revenue authorities. This is the thing. And the last one is agreements in restraint of trade. These are the various things that we come across when we go for